First, a brief word about the design. What you're looking at is a thing called a shaft collar. It slips over a shaft and you tighten down the set screw and it holds the shaft in place or something on the shaft in place. My plan is to take two of these. I found 7/8 inch IDs at Ace Hardware on Highway 58. So I got them, and my plan is to thread these two shaft collars and let them serve as lock nuts against each other. So they're going to be my barrel tuner weights and kind of self-locking, so to speak. The threaded shaft collars will then fit on a threaded sleeve, which will slide over the muzzle threads of a barrel, and it'll be locked down by a flash suppressor or a sound suppressor, whatever you're using as the muzzle device. There's an old saying that says you can't do something until you do something else first. That's kind of the situation I ran into here. I'm going to do some threading, internal threading and external, but on the internal threading, if I try to do it with my setup the way it is, the threading tool would strike the chuck, and of course you can't have that. So I'm looking for a way to space the jaws out further than they would normally be and yet still securely hold my workpiece for threading. We are now to the parting off part, and this is a kind of a straight blade, and you look at it and you think it wouldn't really cut, but it does, and I'm going a little slower here than I probably need to. So where this is going to take us is to that part that just fell off, which
almost there
looks like that, and the workpiece I'm going to use to thread will go in this. Now I've separated it by cutting it on a bandsaw, and it's going to fit in my chuck like this, and it will hold this part. Now it has to not only hold it securely, but it has to hold it concentric with the center line of the bore of the chuck. So that's why it's a split ring, so it will hold it securely, and it's an equal diameter around the workpiece, so it centers it concentrically. And here I'm just checking the inside diameter of the workpiece, the little tube like that's very short, to make sure that it is concentric, and it is. So the next operation is threading. You need to notice two things about this. One is the chuck is turning backwards from its normal direction. It's going counterclockwise, and it would normally go clockwise, that is, looking at it from the direction we are. And the second thing is when we start to thread, see this thread, you'll see the carriage is moving away from the chuck, not toward it. In conventional threading, you would see the chuck going clockwise and the power feed that sets the thread pitch moving toward the chuck. The problem with that technique is that you have to disengage that drive very quickly and precisely, or you can crash or mess up a thread if you did it too early. Okay, the next two operations are drilling and boring. I guess we have over the years come to think of those as the same operations. They are not. Drilling is with drill bits and boring is with a boring bar. The Okay, let's do some external threading. This is that same reverse threading procedure, except of course it's on the outside instead of the inside. And by the way, both make right-hand threads. Threading, be it internal or external, requires many passes. It's a somewhat delicate machining operation. This is called parting off. It's where you actually cut through the piece with a special blade-like tool, and it's like sawing, except it's done on a lathe and it's not a saw. Okay, here's a real close-up of the sleeve, and you'll notice it's got lots of threads on it, and I'll show you what those are for in just a minute. And when we look inside, there is a flange that mates with the muzzle of the barrel. It doesn't affect the exit of the muzzle, but it does give a reference point, and the flash suppressor or whatever your muzzle device is seats on that. So I'm putting it together now. I'm threading the shaft collar that was threaded internally onto the sleeve, and then I'll put the second one on right behind it. And the idea is we can thread these on deeper or shallower and then twist them opposite directions to lock them together, and we can tune our barrel using that. So I'll put this thing on the rifle and see what it looks like. This tuner was designed to work on the lighter weight barrels. This happens to be a BCM lightweight enhanced barrel, but the dimensions of the tuner are very specific to those dimensions of those lighter barrels. And I made it as compact as I thought I could, and this is what it looks like. The only thing that's left now is to take it to the range and test it. I hope that's going to happen tomorrow.